Hello there.
A sentence I've been waiting to say for so long. Welcome back to another episode of Star Wars in a Galaxy, watching all the Star Wars we can get our hands on. I'm Eli.
I'm Jacob.
And we're back, baby. We're back. It hasn't been a long time for y'all. We've skipped like a week here, a week there. Jacob and I have not recorded with each other in, I'd say, about 2.5 months. So
yeah, it's been a while. We've had some stuff going on. We took a big pre-planned break. We're back.
Yes, and I did my theme between themes thing, and that was fun. Yeah. And thank you all. I'm going to say thank you again to Brooke, Jared, Scotty, and Jerry for all coming on and being my guest co-host. I'll do that. But we're back with Star Wars in a Galaxy. We're doing a special episode today, as you've probably seen by the title of this episode. But then next episode, we will be getting into Season 19 of Star Wars in a Galaxy, The Bad Batch Season 3. We are back. We are back weekly. We're so excited to be doing this. Yeah. Anything else, Jacob?
No, Eli, you are a Palpatine-like mastermind of spreading out the episodes and pre-recording and everything so that it doesn't hit the timing that we stopped recording for 2.5 months. And you're just like, yeah, we had a couple weeks missing. Like, it's very impressive. It's very impressive.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Give me a second. I wanted to post a picture of this on I just wanted to post our background on the In a Galaxy Twitter account just to say we're back recording. Let me just quickly do that. But actually, Jacob, I will actually pass the mic to you right now for I will quickly reveal that, of course, as you know by the episode title, today is another one of our character appreciation days. I passed the buck to Jacob this week, and I said, who do you want to do? And he said, Cassian Andor. I assume if he sounds like Stellan Skarsgård, I assume that's what he would say.
I wish I could sound like Stellan Skarsgård, but I can't. I think
don't we all? Don't
he can sound
don't we all?
The way he does.
Getting franchises besides Star Wars the other day. Stellan Skarsgård is like a boon. I like seeing him not only as Luthen Rail in Andor, but as Bootstrap Bill Turner in Pirates of the Caribbean, and Dr. Eric Selvig in the MCU. I've really gained an appreciation, especially in franchise roles, for this guy and all he does as an actor.
Have you seen Dune? Have you seen him as
I have not.
Harkonnen? Oh, he's a force in that as well. He's a force, and he's also in Mamma Mia, which I didn't know. I was confirming on Google.
The number of people who are in Mamma Mia who they're like, why are they in The fact that they got Meryl Streep for both of those movies is astonishing to me.
Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah, he does it all, though.
He does it all. But we're not here to talk about him. We're here, obviously, to talk about Cassian Andor, one of the flagship characters of the new canon, I feel.
100%.
Yeah. Although I shouldn't toss around flagship so loosely these days, because last time I did that was for the Acolyte. Oops.
Hey, you know what? We all make mistakes. Sometimes,
like Disney did when they canceled the Acolyte. But anyway, that's a whole other conversation.
I definitely thought we were going to get another animated Rebels follow-up show.
Yeah.
I would have staked everything on it. I may have been wearing some rose-colored glasses in retrospect, thinking about that.
But let's do our character appreciation day format by starting off with 5 fun facts. Triple F, 5 fun facts. Jacob, why don't you start off with your first fun fact about Cassian Andor?
Cassian Andor, the unlikely hero. My first fun fact is about how Cassian meets K-2SO. So he's sneaking around a decommissioned Imperial cruiser on the planet
Mikako. God,
you're
kidding me.
Did I steal your fact?
Yeah, you did.
Dang it. I knew it seemed too obvious.
It's fine. We can talk about this. I'm sure that we have different facts from each other.
Yeah, you can feel free to add on. And
yeah,
I think I don't know the name of I don't know the name of the comic. I forgot to write it down.
Cassian and K-2SO. It's called Cassian and K-2SO.
Yeah. Cassian or K-2SO arrests Cassian and his comrades, but they're able to overpower him and find his kill switch, and they're able to reprogram him. On the first try, they only wipe 29% of his memory, I believe. So he tries to choke Cassian, and then they get it right on the second try, leading to the all the sassy security droid moments that we know and love.
Yep. And I love that this exists, although unfortunately, the biggest thing is I feel bad for Dwayne Swierczynski and all the other people who wrote this one shot, and all the people who worked hard on this, because I am almost certain that this is going to get retconned.
You think so?
I'm almost certain that in Andor season 2, this is going to get retconned. This is going to get retconned in Andor season 2.
For what it's worth, Diego Luna, in an interview, when I was researching this episode, I did see an interview. He said, and a lot can change, and he probably doesn't know the specific, definitely didn't know the specifics when he was talking about it, but an interviewer did ask him, do you think that we might see Cassian meet K-2SO in the show? And he said, no way. This is 5 years before we have to show the whole journey.
We know K2 is going to
be in season 2. How we would even get to that. We know he's in season 2?
Yes, we know that K2
is in season 2. Oh man, what did I miss?
Just nothing actual. There was a leaked trailer shown at D23, but it didn't have K2 in it. It didn't have K2 in it, but I think it was confirmed by Alan Tudyk, who plays K2SO, and other sources, that he is going to be in this season. And obviously, because we're jumping a year in between stuff, there is a chance that this comic could still stand as canon, but I think it is going to get retconned, because I just think that Tony Gilroy wants to tell his own story around that, and I think Star Wars is going to let him.
Yeah, I think that's very possible. I think so. It's going to let him. At this point, let him cook, as they say. Let Tony Gilroy and everyone on Andor work their magic. Clearly, I've not had my ear to the ground. I apologize.
No, we're good. That was my number 4, but I'll go with my number 1 right now, which is this line that was one of my favorite moments in the first arc of season 1 of Andor. Truly. This moment is so cool to me. And I'm so excited to see other Star Wars writers do stuff like this. Where after Cassian kills the 3 more security officers in self-defense and becomes a wanted man, they're trying to look for him, and they identify him as a Kenari male. And his adoptive mother, Marva, is just dismayed about that, because, as I'm going to quote this, "We have always said Fest. Every doc I've ever submitted has always said you were born on Fest," which is a fantastic little thing that Tony Gilroy did in this arc, which I think is just brilliant, honestly, which is that every visual dictionary before this said that Cassian was born on Fest. Every visual dictionary that was written was that Cassian was born on Fest. They could have easily retconned that, but no, what they did is he was born on Fest as a cover. It's playing with the canonicity of it instead of just outright ignoring it, or saying, oh, they got it wrong, or whatever. It's a part of the canonicity of it, is a part of the story, which I think is really cool. And I want to see Star Wars play around with that. We also know that Fest was eventually used for Rebel operations later. Cassian may have even visited it. So I love this relationship between him and his not quite birthplace.
Yeah, I love how they I did not know that. That's so cool how they work that in. I like that a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. What's your number 2?
So my number 2 is an interesting one, and I found this out for the first time as I was researching, doing a little bit of digging for this episode. Diego Luna is not the only person to portray Cassian Andor in a TV show. J. Michael Tatum voiced Cassian Andor in Star Wars Go Rogue. Now, I didn't know what these were. It's a series. I know. I looked at it. It's on IMDb. I think it's legit.
Holy crap.
It's a series of shorts released in 2016. According to IMDb,
Star Wars YouTube channel.
It's made by fans and Lucasfilm. I'm not sure exactly what that means. To promote the Tongal Rogue One action figures. So it was action figure promotional shorts.
Holy crap.
I know, right? I had never.
Because in my best portrayal, I'm like, Diego Luna is the only portrayal. And then when you said he wasn't the only portrayal, I'm like, are there Forces of Destiny episodes I haven't seen that have Cassian in there played by somebody else? That's crazy. Wow. We need to do an In a Galaxy on the Go Rogue episodes. That'll be one
Yeah.
of our wacky episodes where we just like, okay, let's watch
Yeah.
these fans
Star
literally
Wars
playing with
Go
action
Rogue.
figures.
Like I was
This
so
feels like our new
confused when I
bounty
looked that
hunters.
up. Yeah, it's like
This
what
feels like our new bounty hunter. Like
they just
this
kind of
obscure
released
thing
that
that
and
nobody
it's
knows about.
like halfway off the books. Like I can't think of another action
They're
figure
on the
set
Star
in
Wars
modern
YouTube
Star Wars
channel.
history that's had its own little mini show. That's amazing.
It seems like some Legos may be involved as well.
Yeah, it's pretty. Maybe we'll do maybe next time we want to shake it up a little bit. Maybe we do a deep dive into the world of Star Wars Go Rogue, the limited series.
It looks like there are only 4 chapters, and they're each like basically watching all of Go Rogue would be equivalent to watching 1 episode of Star Wars animated television.
I feel like we've done more with less. I feel like we have at times on this show. Don't you think? I think it's possible. I mean, it could be possible.
Yes, but it's possible. I just think it's stretching a little bit.
It is stretching a little bit, but sometimes there's beauty to a short episode, a short podcast.
Yeah,
you know?
No, absolutely. Yeah, but that's a freaking wild.
Yeah, we'll be going frame by frame through those.
Yeah. Speaking of obscure Star Wars media, which Cassian Andor has been featured in, a sort of a theme. Jacob, why don't you and I, let's take a look at this. We've actually seen this. I don't remember this very well, but let's talk about Cassian's inclusion in one of the most forgotten pieces of Star Wars media because you can no longer access it now.
What?
Let's talk about Cassian Andor at the beginning of Secrets of the Empire, the VR experience created at the Void for people to play in the Star Wars universe.
He was in that?
He gave like a brief mission debriefing at the very beginning before you put the headsets on.
Jeez, Louise, because wait, Eli, we did that. When did
we did do that?
2019, I want to say.
So, something like that. The Void, God. The reason why, so the Void shut down in 2020 or 2021, I forget which one it is, due to being just going out of business because of COVID.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean, let's take a look. I found this video. I will link this video in the description. It is from the YouTube channel London Kundalini Center. Okay. All right. Let me share this video and let's take a look at what Cassian has to say to the recruits before they go on this mission to Mustafar.
All right, let's do it.
Transmission. This is Captain Cassian Andor of Rebel.
God dang it.
So, I'm Mr.
I'm going to start it over from the beginning. All right, here we go.
Transmission. This is Captain Cassian Andor of Rebel Intelligence. We don't have much time. Our agents have been tracking a troubling Imperial shipment. This cargo crate has eluded all our efforts to discover its contents. Rumors have suggested it to be an incredibly powerful device. Something capable of threatening the light of freedom throughout the galaxy. Today, I managed to place a tracking device on the shuttle transport of this crate. My team has recently stolen an Imperial transport and had prepared to intercept that cargo shuttle. I was supposed to join them. But it seems that the Empire has other ideas. You must take my ship, my crew, and my mission. Find this crate and return to base with knowledge of its contents. You will disguise yourselves as stormtroopers. This should allow you to move undetected through most situations. Each of you have been assigned different color markings on your armor. This will help you recognize each other during your mission. Your team is waiting. Follow the crate to its destination, discover what's inside, and then get out.
So that was Cassian Andor's message to the rebel recruits, disguised as stormtroopers at the beginning of the Secrets of the Empire VR experience.
Wow. That's gonna be like that's gonna be real Star Wars Lost media one day.
It 100% is.
Like, that's an amazing find. Wow.
And thank God, like, I was able to go to this. I've been many times. There's a void around me in Los Angeles, so I got lucky enough to go and experience that. My only issue with Secrets of the Empire is it's not nearly long enough. Like, it very much feels like scratching the surface. of what you can do.
I think it was in that era of not AI. It was in that era of the VR. There were a lot of these kind of VR showcasey things popping up that you could go do. At least where we in a big city, tech city. I got some of that going on.
Yeah, the Void, and there was another one called Dreamscape. Yeah,
was that the Alien
Star Wars
one? Yeah, there's a few of those.
Star Wars was partnering with the Void. Marvel was partnering with the Void. Ghostbusters was partnering with the Void. Everybody wanted to do it, and then COVID ruined their business model because nobody wanted to do it in person for understandable reasons. But
it's too bad they weren't able to bring it to Disneyland or something. Like, I feel like it had potential.
Well, one of the Void was out in not Disneyland, but in the Disney Plaza, outside the
kidding
shopping center. Yeah,
I never saw
one of them was in the shopping center.
Okay. Very nice.
Outside Disneyland before the Void closed
Very
down.
Nice.
Yeah, for those who had it is probably not the Star Wars VR experience focused on Darth Vader and Mustafar that you're thinking of. No, that's Vader Immortal, which you can still play. I don't know what it is with Star Wars VR and Vader and Mustafar, because you have Vader Immortal releasing in 3 parts, which involves around discovering the secrets of Mustafar and Vader's castle while confronting Vader. And then you have both Secrets of the Empire and Vader Immortal basically doing both of those. I want to know what the process was, and how nobody was like, hey, these 2 things are the same. One just featured Cassian and K-2, and the other one features more Force lore.
Don't they have Cassian? Isn't he also isn't he in Star Tours now at Disneyland?
I'm sure he is.
I'm pretty sure I saw a video. They put him in as one of the people giving the rebellion messages and whatnot, which is cool as well.
I think he might have been after Rogue One, but I might be misremembering that. He definitely is now. I know they added Cassian and Ahsoka, Rosario Ahsoka, obviously, and I think also Din. I'm pretty sure also Din as well to Star Tours recently. I haven't been able to go to Disneyland since that, so I'm very excited to see that though. Next time,
one day
I do actually go. Yeah. What is your number 3? Fact number 3.
My number 3 fact is that both Cassian Andor and Jyn Erso are in their journeys to helping the rebellion given a Kyber crystal necklace. Cassian's comes from Luthen Rael as down payment, and Jyn's comes from her mom Lyra. And I just included this because I think it's a really cool symbol of how their destinies are intertwined, and with Kyber crystals resonating in the Force as oh my gosh, who said that? I can't remember. I'm blanking on his name. With Kyber crystals having special importance in Star Wars to the Force, to the Jedi, I think it's a cool symbol of how they both are, through chance and destiny, whatnot.
They
find this special path to bring a little balance back to the galaxy. So
if I may go off on a little bit of a tangent here related, the joy I got when I saw Luthen Rael give Cassian Andor that Kyber crystal in Reckoning was insurmountable, but not because of the Kyber crystal. The reason that I was so overjoyed was because Luthen Rael said that. Give me a second. I want to get the quote. It's so freaking crazy. The crystal was made in celebration of the defeat of the Rakatan invaders. Is an actual line that Stellan Skarsgård says in this show that so many people say is not concerned with what came before in Star Wars canon. They made a fucking KOTOR reference in episode 3.
Yeah. In many ways, it's not concerned as much, but this is certainly not one of them. It's a pretty wonderful. It's a pretty fun reference. It's a real good
referencing the Rakatan invaders in Andor of everything is ridiculous, and I love it so much.
Oh, I love it. I love
it. It's stupid. It's stupid and it's hilarious, and I love it for that. All right, now, are you ready to go into some more obscure Star Wars media with me?
Take me there.
We are going into not a story about Cassian Andor technically, but a story that does feature him in a way. Let's talk about Tales from not Tales from Vader's Castle. This is Tales from the Death Star, which is the follow-up to Tales from Vader's Castle, which is basically Cap and Scott having a lot of fun and telling spooky stories in the Star Wars universe. And these are not strictly true. These are like with those books like Myths and Fables. Sorry, I meant with those books like Star Wars Myths and Fables, which I'm trying to show here that I have, but my green screen is not letting y'all see. But yeah, I do have it. These are supposed to be true, but they're fun. They add flavor to the universe, and it would be funny. It'd be funny. It'd be fun if they were, and you could consider with your own length of canonicity and all that kind of stuff. Let me introduce you to the last tale, because they're split into different tales. They're different stories.
Okay.
Which is called The Haunting of Grand Moff Tarkin. This is completely true. Basically, in the story, Tarkin aboard the Death Star, during the events of A New Hope, basically, starts getting visions of all of the people who have been killed by this thing. The grand design that he's all of the legendary people of the galaxy, Bail, Breha Organa, and Jyn Erso, and oh yeah, there's Cassian in there too, which is how I'm connecting it back. Look what you did to us. You destroyed the planets we were on. You monster. And then it follows the events of the Battle of Yavin from Tarkin's perspective, and as many people are trying to convince him, as we see in New Hope, the rebels might actually pose a threat to us, and we should probably evacuate in a moment of triumph. I think you overestimate the chances. All that, all that stuff. And then, right before the Death Star explodes, he sees the spirits again, and they're like, "Come join us," because he knows he's about to die. It's incredibly macabre and spooky. And I know it only tangentially relates to Cassian Andor, but he is one of the ghosts in there. So I think it counts, and I think it's very funny.
Fair enough. No, that's an amazing...
Cassian Andor's ghost appears in The Haunting of Grand Moff Tarkin.
Wow.
What is your number 4?
My number 4 pick, fun fact, maybe a bit more well-known, not sure, but Cassian, from 2 to 0 years, BBY, he used the code name Fulcrum. It just makes me so happy that he had the same title in the rebellion, with all that history, all that meaning, all that significance that Ahsoka once used. Two of my very favorite characters. Not just Ahsoka, but most notably.
There was one more. We know who had it.
Oh man, I'm blanking.
Appears in Andor, actually.
It's not Mon Mothma, is it?
Not Mon. He thinks of himself as the only one with clarity of purpose.
Oh.
The codename Fulcrum was originated by Saw Gerrera.
I didn't know it was originated by Saw Gerrera. That's cool.
If you remember, in Season 7, Episode 10 of Star Wars, Episode 9 of Star Wars The Clone Wars, when Anakin and Obi-Wan are contacted by Ahsoka, they're contacted by the Fulcrum Network, and they're like, I wonder what Saw wants.
Did you just know, wait, serious question, did you just know that off the top? You didn't have that ready or anything? You didn't look anything up?
No, I knew that off the top of my head, yeah. Uh-huh.
Dude, you are a demon.
Yes, I am.
You're a trivia demon. When are you in competition next? Wow. Good Lord.
I'm not, trust me, the Dragon Con released their entrance exam. Their qualifying exam to get on that final stage. I took the qualifying quiz. You can see it up on the In a Galaxy YouTube channel. I posted it. The process of me taking it, I got a higher score than anybody qualifying except for Alex Salmon himself.
Dude, it's only a matter of time, bro. It's only a matter of time.
Look, as soon as I'm out of school and because it's over Labor Day weekend, which is impractical for me. As soon as I'm out of school and I go to Dragon Con, I'm coming. I'm coming for y'all. I'm my only goal really is to get on the stage. Anything else, from hearing the Daemons describe it, everything else is the most ridiculous trivia that nobody really should know.
Oh yeah.
And it's just a crapshoot. So really, the thing you're aiming for is to get on that stage. And I think I can do that.
And it's just there's no other qualification. It's just based on who nails the exam, or is it?
Yeah, it's just the high scorers on the exam.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
But yeah, so Saul also had the fulcrum thing. I'm gonna throw it back to you because my number 4 was about the Cassian and K-2SO one shot that we mentioned already. So what about your number 5?
So this is a kind of a fun one, a deep cut. So Cassian's his blaster pistol in Andor, the MW20 Briar pistol.
You looked that up, right?
I looked that up. No, I fully was like, I know that I'm into like the tech and the ships and stuff. No, I don't want to scare you. I'm not going to scare you. No. So originally it was used by his adoptive father, Clem, but this was inspired by the K-16, which was a Battlefront gun. That gun, in turn, came from the Briar design for Kyle Katarn in Dark Forces.
Oh my god!
So originally it was actually Kyle Katarn's in Dark Forces.
I was so convinced.
Which is it's a crazy pull for the prop designers to do that.
It is absolutely crazy.
So hats off. They're really thinking through this stuff. It's amazing.
Yeah, I totally thought where you were going with this is because I remember seeing a few complaints online when Andor was releasing. The blasters seemed too much like real guns.
Most of the blasters in Star Wars, at least the original ones, like they are in fact inspired by real guns.
And I don't have that complaint. But I do remember specifically Andor seeming like having a lot of the weapons inspired by weapons used in World War II and Vietnam. And I thought that's where you're going. I thought Cassian's was designed after X pistol, that was the X pistoler gun that was used in World War II. Kyle Katarn, somebody who honestly has a very similar story to Cassian at the beginning. Actually, not incredibly similar because Cassian never once thinks about joining the Empire, and Kyle does. But they're the revolutionary agents. They're the spies going behind the scenes. Kyle's still part of the plans for the first Death Star. So did Cassian.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's an amazing.
Yeah, we could. Then Kyle discovers he's force sensitive, and then the whole thing changes for him.
Yeah, it's an amazing parallel. It's an amazing parallel.
The Empire killed both of their fathers, which prompted them to join the rebellion. So yeah, there's quite a bit. All right,
there you go.
My final fact that I'm going to talk about is just some fun stuff. I love Tony Gilroy. This is beautiful. I'm gonna just say, as props to Wikipedia here for like being a great site for like just all this information stuff. You should reinstate Jordan Wilson. I'm hoping that gets the right people. Anyway, after viewing the script sent by Lucasfilm about a Cassian and K-2SO series, Rogue One writer Tony Gilroy thought the material was fine, but hard to sustain over a long run. He then wrote a forensic manifesto explaining why the idea would not work and what Lucasfilm should do instead. Gilroy explained that the show should have a large hole that Andor climbs out of over the course of 5 years. Gilroy added that Andor's journey should not involve escapades with K-2SO because it could get repetitive. Gilroy's idea became the Andor television series, which was called The Education of Cassian Andor during early development. I don't know exactly, I explained in other sources, but basically Andor was being in development at Lucasfilm way before Tony Gilroy was asked, and he was sent as the writer of Rogue One, and that's the person who wrote this character. He was asked to consult, hey, what do you think about this?
Yeah.
And Gilroy had such intense ideas about how it should be done that Kathy was just like, why don't you do this? Why don't you just do this? And I think that is so insanely funny. how there are a lot of those stories, like even one about how Michael Jackson for his album Off the Wall was searching for all these producers and asked a friend of his, Quincy Jones, hey, do you know any good producers? And he's, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And I just find it really funny that there is this narrative, and it is true to some extent, that Gilroy doesn't care about Star Wars and doesn't have the reverence for Star Wars that many have, and that is true to an extent. He cares about these characters. He cares about the stories that he's telling in this universe, and the creation of Andor is the proof in the pudding of that, in my opinion.
I think the lack of the idea that he has some kind of lack of reverence is, I don't know. I find that preposterous. But
I think he has a
me.
lack of reverence for the specific universe, but for the storytelling tradition, I think that's bullshit. Yeah. Next, we have the best portrayal, which as we just talked about, I thought only included Diego Luna, but apparently what's his name? J.
Michael Tatum.
J. Michael Tatum apparently
has his hat in the ring.
Also has his hat in the ring, but let's be clear.
Let's be honest.
It's Diego all the way.
Diego Luna, my goodness.
I liked Cassian as a character in Rogue One. Fine. Andor really boosted my appreciation for his character.
Yeah, I think he did a phenomenal job. I think Diego Luna did a phenomenal job in Rogue One. I really enjoyed him as Cassian in that movie, but all the different places emotionally, mentally that they take Cassian in Andor, but it just really enables him to shine to another level in terms of the acting.
And I think that the idea that he's presenting of the arc that he goes on in season 1 specifically of why care to this is why I should care is I think very well done. And I look forward to see very much the completion of his arc, which we have the beginning of in season 1 and we have the end of in Rogue One. And now we're going to see it be completed in season 2, which I'm also excited just because season 2 ends right where Rogue One picks up. As we all know, Rogue One ends right where A New Hope picks up. So we will be able to watch that final episode of Andor into Rogue One, into A New Hope seamlessly, which is a whole new level of immersion. And I find that very cool. All right.
Best piece of media? We've got two choices here, so essentially.
Well, no, I did a specific episode. Spoiler.
Oh, shoot. I didn't pick a specific episode.
You didn't have to.
I didn't think that far ahead. I was just like, oh, it's Andor.
Did you do Rogue One or did you do Rogue One or did you do Andor?
I mean, I think honorable mention, obviously, to Rogue One as a film. It has grown on me tremendously over the years. I didn't really used to like it at all. Now it's really one of my favorite Star Wars movies. I really do love that movie. But Andor just, oh my, I don't know. I did not see this. I did not see Andor coming. How amazing it was going to be as a show. Just the way that it just gets to the heart of why the Empire is so terrifying and how the Empire is so crushing and terrifying, and just seeing that play out in people's lives in such stark, sharp focus. It's absolutely tremendous. Every episode I was just on the edge of my seat. I cannot wait to rewatch it for In a Galaxy eventually.
Yes,
I may have to rewatch it on my own before that. It's coming up now, isn't it? It's coming up.
Season 19 is Star Wars The Bad Batch Season 3. Season 20 of Star Wars in a Galaxy will be Season 1 of Andor.
Woo!
It is not the next season, but the very one after that. It will be a 13... I can already tell you, this is going to be a 13-episode season. It's going to be one of the longer In a Galaxy seasons. And that is because I have to look at the episode runtimes again, but the Andor runtimes are considerably longer.
Oh, they are.
We usually like to talk about between 40 and 60 minutes of media, or as the dirty word goes, content on the show. Yeah, we're going to do that. I already have in mind quite a few guests I want to have on for Andor, because that's the only way for me to tolerate Andor is by talking with people who like it. No, that's a joke. That's a joke, everybody. Don't kill me. Anyway.
Andor is better than, what did I say? 1 billion oatmeal raisin
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Perhaps I've
no idea what you're talking about. Anyway, my pick for best piece of media that the Cassian Andor is, I chose the episode of Andor One Way Out. which I think is the episode that really crystallizes Cassian's capabilities as a leader. There's a lot of potential in that arc paid to Kino Loy because everybody was so impressed with Andy Serkis, and rightfully so. But Cassian, as the one who galvanizes Kino, as the one who galvanizes Melshi, and it's the one who galvanizes everybody else to break out of the prison, which wasn't like you could tell by the previous 2 episodes, wasn't something that was done, or at least if it had, the Empire kept it pretty covered up, just like they probably did for the Narkina 5 breakout. It just wasn't something that was done. The Empire had all these ingenious defenses against breakouts, and then Cassian did it. Cassian and the other prisoners did it, and Cassian and Melshi made it off world and survived.
Yeah.
I think his realization of who he is and like fully coming into his own really, really crystallizes his arc.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's a great pick. It's one of my favorite episodes for sure.
All right, let's do best allies.
Best allies. Now this was tough because the way the show is set up, but I had to make my picks. I accidentally closed out of my
number 3.
Tab. So number 3 for me, I didn't put these in order.
Okay.
But my number 1, let me go. I'll go with. Sorry, go ahead. Let me go with number 3. I'll go with Marva Andor. I love her portrayal and her presence and everything that she brings to Andor. Her and Cassian's relationship, it just really, I feel like it just expands his character so much in the show, and what the show is able to do and what it's able to say about Andor and the nature of living under an authoritarian dictatorship, a fascist police state, with her journey, especially once she refuses Cassian's offer of escaping Ferrix, starting a new life, and she rededicates herself to fighting against the oppression of the Empire. And then obviously her posthumous funeral speech in the finale. That's just a moment for the books in this show. If there's 1 or 2 moments I might pick that really define what this show is all about and what makes it spectacular, it's that. So definitely gonna have to give some big love to Marva on this list.
My number 3 is somebody who actually does not interact with Cassian in Andor yet, at least. I'm gonna go with his commander, the person who he ultimately gets all his orders from, and that would be Mon Mothma.
Very good pick. Very good pick.
Of the Andor show, even though she and Cassian never actually meet in the first season, which is crazy to say. See, their relationship is very good by Rogue One. So that's one of the things I'm most excited to see in Andor season 2 is the relationship between Cassian and Mon. Cassian who has seen the oppression of the Empire up close. And somebody like Mon, who is only starting to really see it up close, who knows that it's happening, and is one of the only ones in her position to acknowledge that it is happening, but who has not seen the inside of an Imperial prison, who has not seen the inside of an Imperial garrison, at least like from the same perspective as Cassian has. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think Mon Mothma, this is just incredible. I mean, her journey in this show and just seeing her just cope with just her world, the wall is closing in, everything that's happening. It's fantastic. She really is fantastic. So for my number 2, I'm gonna go with Luthen Rael. Rael. I mean, we already talked about how much we love Stellan Skarsgård, and what would this show be without Luthen? He just has the most memorable quotes. Some of his monologues and soliloquies they're so amazing. And just his double life, the way that he brings Cassian into the fold and communicates.
He recognizes his potential. Yeah.
His message and everything. It's captivating. It's absolutely captivating. And he's so compelling as a character. I just felt like every time he was on screen, and this goes for so many people in this show, Mon Mothma, Cassian, every time he was on screen, I was just like, oh my gosh, feel this. Like
Yeah.
I feel the anger, the frustration, but the fear, and fighting through the fear regardless, and
Yeah,
just the
absolutely.
whirlwind of what he's dealing with.
I would. Neither of these two have been on my list so far. It's interesting.
Really?
Number 2. All of these three are technically all Rogue One picks, but 2 of them we know are going to at least start in Andor Season 2. This one is not one of them. I'm going with the ally that Cassie has known fairly shortly in comparison to all the other ones we've mentioned. And that is Jyn Erso. There are a lot of people, I think it's because I've seen a lot of people, I didn't realize how much people shipped Cassian and Jyn, and I think that their relationship is extremely important to Rogue One. I think like how they both evolve and cause and show the other one something that they've been missing. Cassian has been too involved in the gritty side of the rebellion and the like, we do what we have to do, that he's forgotten why it truly matters. And Jyn is like a lot like Cassian at the beginning of Andor.
Yeah.
She is unconvinced that anything can be done, and
Yeah.
both of them show each other the full picture of how resistance against the Empire can work.
Yeah.
And I think that their relationship is great, and I think that it is. The worst part of Rogue One is that it ends. You know.
Yeah, I mean, my number 1 pick was actually going to be, or is, Jyn as well. So I will just add on, you know, what I love, especially, I think Andor is one of the, in Andor we see one of these instances where the what came before is retroactively improved by everything that we have now, where their relationship in Andor and what Jyn brings in Andor, or not in Andor, I apologize. What Jyn brings in Rogue One is made all the more compelling and all the more interesting, all the more meaningful by the fact that we see Cassian go through this same kind of a similar journey, where now we're looking at it as, okay, what happens when Cassian meets himself, or someone? What happens when Cassian meets someone who's like he was 5 years ago, before Luthen, before the Ferrix uprising, before all of this? What happens when he finds someone just like the way he was? And I think the way that he brings Jyn into the fold, though she's a little more willing at times, I think that's fantastic. I think it's just fantastic. And then obviously their relationship, their on-screen chemistry, the way that they work together as well is fantastic. And really, Rogue One, that's really the story ultimately of Jyn and Cassian, when it comes down to the people involved and the decisions that they make and the decisions that Jyn makes. And it's really beautiful because of that.
Absolutely. My number 1 pick, which I'm surprised is not on your list, honestly. Of course it's the droid. Of course it's K2.
Really? That K2SO is your number 1 pick?
Yeah.
Okay. I respect it. I respect it.
Inseparable in Rogue One. I'm really excited to see Tudyk back. I love their, like, Cassian and K2's relationship was one of the things I like most about Rogue One. And I am excited to see Alan Tudyk back as K2SO. When the series was announced, he jokingly called this series K2 Fast, K2 Furious, which I love. And I think their comedic dynamic, mostly K2SO's comedic dynamic, plays really well off of a admittedly dark show that I think is going to get a little bit more hopeful come season 2. Because we are getting closer to Yavin. We are getting closer. If Aldhani was the first sign that the Empire can bleed, and Yavin was the first sign that they can be destroyed, those two are not like, it's not one happens and then 5 years later randomly another happens.
Yeah.
You have to build from one to the other. And I think a lot of that building is what we are going to see in season 2 of Andor.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, best enemies, number 3.
Best enemies. All right, let me just think about this for just one moment. Number 3, I'm going with Cyril Karn.
really it. Number
Hear
three.
me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. In Andor, we don't have that much. We only have a movie and one season of a show with Cassian, and in this one season, so they don't really ever duke it out face to face. It's not that kind of enemy, but I think Cyril Karn is, first off, such a fun and compelling perspective on a pretty ordinary person just trying to get by, but he's like millions or billions of others who, like it or not, keep the cogs of the Empire turning, but through his own kind of a little bit weird, delusional kind of weird hero's journey that he goes through with investigating the Morlana murders and helping the ISB and going after Dedra Miro. He really does change the course of the show, and in this universe he kind of changes the arc of history, as do they all.
Of course he does, and that's why I put him as my number one.
I was assuming you left them off the list because I was like,
that's why I was so surprised.
You don't think of them as facing off.
No,
do you want to talk about him now, or do you want to wait and keep it in order?
I will talk about it now.
Okay, I'll let you. I'll give you the reins then.
Yeah, no, Cyril. What I like Cyril is that they're about Cyril and Cassian's relationship. Yeah, they don't meet a lot, but they are both these two young men who are born into this galaxy and make radically different choices, and one's causes the oppression and suffering of the others. And it's Cyril's inability to realize the part he plays that is what is so tragic about his character. It is his inability to realize that Cassian is only a criminal because the Empire made him a criminal. Is that this movement towards rebellion is only happening because the Empire is so autocratic, and that his his quest to gain more power within the Empire is ultimately just selfish, and that may be rewarded within the Empire, but that is not. But it still does not make it the right thing to do. He isn't that Cyril's inability, like so many great villains, to realize that he is the bad guy in the story is what makes him and Cassian, because he's right. He's right about all this being connected via Cassian and all that kind of stuff. Nobody believes him, but he's right. And yet he still drastically misses the point. There's that contrast, and I'm sorry if I'm spoiling one of your other picks here. I don't know if I am. But there's this contrast of I know a lot of people were in the early ISB scenes were cheering on Dedra Miro because she was in a male-dominant environment and being a woman and staking her claim and all that kind of stuff and asserting her power and all that kind of stuff. And then Andor makes you root for her with that. And then she turns around and is torturing Bix with this dying screams of a species that the Empire genocided. And then you have to remember, a feminist fascist is still a fascist.
Yeah.
And then ultimately, these people are still the bad guys, no matter how sympathetically they may be portrayed. Yeah. That's my thing about Cyril.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm going to go with my number 3, which is Orville Skeen. Which
that's a good pick.
Which we think of as an ally for most of the Aldani arc, but I think of as an enemy just because, obviously, of the portrayal. But I like to think of him as the dark reflection of Cassian. What Cassian could have become if he made different choices. He was really only in it for the money, and he was really only in it for his own selfish gains. Now, Cassian wasn't completely pure of heart at that point. Obviously, he took his credits and fucked off to Niamos until the Empire came knocking there too. But at least Cassian had the capacity to see that this guy was a jackass and shot him point blank.
Yeah.
And I think the performance by Eben Moss-Bacharach is great. I'm excited to see him. I was surprised as anybody when they cast Orville Skeen as the new thing in the new Fantastic Four movie, which I think is such a crazy choice, but I think it'll be interesting.
Yeah. It works.
Yeah. Who's your number 2?
Number 2 is going to be Director Krennic.
Same.
Again, another one where we don't go face to face a lot, but
legitimately say.
Yeah, the hot-headed director of the Death Star's construction. He's responsible for. He's pulling the levers on everything that Cassian and company are furiously, desperately working to try and prevent.
I'm not sure how much you
Rogue
kept up with Andor news, but we do know that Ben Mendelsohn will be returning as director Orson Krennic in season 2 of Star Wars.
Oh my! You have got to be kidding me! You have got to be kidding me!
True.
This is going to be one of the best.
True.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Ben Mendelsohn is returning as director Orson Krennic in season 2 of Star Wars Andor.
This is feeling like it's going to be maybe a pretty incredible season.
Which is why I included him, honestly.
Maybe a pretty incredible season. I think.
Which is why I include him on the list. I will say that Cassian does ultimately fire the shot that kills him before the Death Star does it. But at that point, it's semantics.
Yeah.
But just knowing that he and Cassian were playing this cat and mouse game with each other even before the events of Rogue One.
Yeah, that's going to be amazing.
That's what made me put him at number 2. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had Krennic at number 2. Who is your number 1? Since I already revealed mine with Cyril.
My number 1 is Dedra Meero.
Interesting. Wow.
Because I think that this is a show where I feel like Andor as a show and Rogue One as a movie is not a show where they're fighting individuals. It's not a show where the protagonists are struggling necessarily against individuals. It's more so they're fighting against, in sum, the entire system that is the Empire and the effects that system and that kind of collective force is having on everyone's life in the prison, on Ferrix, just the scale at which we see the cogs of the Empire, the wheels turning, the scale at which everything is operating. And I think no one embodies that better than Dedra Meero. Talk about someone really making the Empire scary in this show. She's just an absolute machine, just will stop at nothing to hunt down and crush the rebels. And yet she's also the perfect example of all these little, how all the little pieces of the Empire, all the people, all the atoms form this whole structure, because she's also, pretty viciously fighting against her own colleagues, her own comrades in the Imperial Security Bureau's supposed great mission that they feel like they have, or that they profess to feel like they have. And I think for that reason, she's an embodiment of both why the Empire is so terrifying and so awful in her kind of extraordinary cruelty and her amazing kind of scary competence that she always feels like she's just about to get the rebels. But that's also, she kind of shows the Empire's downfall a little bit, which is ultimately it creates this system where people betray one another. People are afraid of one another, and there's no trust there. It is from the top down. It's look out for number 1.
Absolutely.
My number 5 is from episode 10 of Andor, the prison
give me a sec.
break.
The prison break is your number 10. That is my number 2.
With Cassian, that's just one of the most unbelievable, great sequences of Star Wars TV, really any TV that I can think of that I've experienced in my life.
Yeah, what can we say about it that cannot be said? What can we say about it that cannot be said? One Way Out, one of the greatest episodes of this show, in my opinion. A monumental episode of Star Wars television. And Cassian's role in managing this is I think often, as we're seeing, Kino gets a lot of the credit, but I think Cassian's role cannot be understated in this.
Oh, absolutely not. You're absolutely right. But I think also what makes it great for Cassian is him urging Kino Loy. When it falls to them, he urges Kino to step up and to say what he says, knowing that Kino is who he is in the prison and what it's going to mean, coming from someone who's been there a long time, and being willing to step back in that moment is also great.
Yeah, it's fantastic. My number 5 moment. Let's check what it's from. Yes, my number 5 moment is also from Andor. It's from season 1, episode 3 of Star Wars Andor, and it is Cassian's you could call it like his call to action, him accepting his destiny and escaping Ferrix with losing a rail. All Star Wars heroes have moments like this. Obviously, we often think of it through the lens of a Jedi or some other Force user, but Cassian, of course, also has this moment where the walls close in on him and he's forced to make a decision, and he decides that going with Luthen, at least for right now, is his destiny. Yeah, the escape from Ferrix is fast-paced and energetic, and I like seeing that Cassian figure out who he is with this. What is your number 4 from?
My number 4 is from Andor episode 6. Andor episode 6.
Give me a second.
Shooting first after the heist.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I thought you were going to say the heist, but Cassian shooting first after the heist. Interesting pick. So why about Cassian shooting first?
Cassian shooting first because, besides the obvious awesome parallels with Han Solo and the moral ambiguity that's symbolized there, when Skeen proposes that they abandon Vel and Nemec, this is, like you said, I like how you put it. It's Cassian looking at a reflection of potentially what he could be, where he's being handed, after all the trials and tribulations that he's been through, all the talent challenges, all the danger, all the times he's almost died, he has on a silver platter an opportunity to take the money and run and just become, for himself, fabulously wealthy, for himself and his mother potentially. But he decides, he just unceremoniously shoots Skeen and stays loyal to the rebellion and stays loyal to the cause. And that is, I don't think we can understate how huge a moment that is, knowing who Cassian is, knowing what he's been through, where he's coming from, where he's going. It's a watershed moment. And also just the way that it's acted, the way that it's executed, everything that we see just flashing across his face. It's wonderful. It's not wonderful. It's a grim and harrowing scene, but it's a tremendous scene, and it's a tremendous moment for Cassian.
It absolutely is a tremendous scene. My number 4 is from Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, and that is our victory lap moment for Cassian Andor. We think he's dead. He ain't dead. Give me a second. There we go. When Cassian shoots and kills Director Krennic, revealing that he is still alive, saving Jyn Erso, and becoming an essential part of the actual transmission, along with Jyn, of the plans of the Death Star to the Rebel Alliance. The completion of his arc, I think, is extremely important, and I like the rawness of Jyn and Cassian here, because they realize that they did it.
Yeah.
They realize that they achieved the thing. Even if they might die, they achieved the thing.
It's a wonderful moment. It truly is a wonderful moment.
Yeah, it is. What is your number 3?
My number 3, almost from the same spot,
is what?
Cassian and Jyn at their last moment together on the beach. They make their way down to the sand. They see the fireball coming towards them, and they hug, and just everything in that moment as an encapsulation of just the mutual acknowledgement of the unbelievable sacrifice and just putting a bow on this entire incredible movie. I think it's just a fantastic moment, and I really like how they get, like you said, it's like yours, they get, if nothing else, they get one moment just to think, we made a fucking difference. Like, we did something, and we took one chance, and we took the next, and we took the next. And lo and behold, people and individuals doing the right thing and doing the brave thing and doing the most difficult thing can make a huge difference.
Yes, it can.
And that moment is switching that.
I'm going to go for my number 3 to the same episode that you were talking about, but still yet a different moment. Let's talk about the heist. Cassian's first, real act of organized rebellious activity, being part of the first mission that shows that the Empire can bleed, a full-blown robbery of an Imperial garrison on Aldhani. He is essential to the heist's success, and it really sets off alarm bells across the galaxy that the Empire is not as stable as people might think it is. Yeah, this is where he first starts believing that maybe he could be a part of the cause. And yeah, it's great.
It is absolutely great.
What is your next moment?
My next moment, my number 2 moment. Oh gosh, I didn't renumber this, so they're both so amazing. I'm gonna go with Cassian sparing Galen Erso. Sparing Galen Erso on Iadu. Because Cassian and the crew, they were supposed to rescue Galen from Imperial captivity. The other officer, or one of the rebel officers, takes him aside and says to him, "Hey man, off the books. It's pretty imperative that if you can't rescue him, we have to assassinate him to try and stop work on the super laser." And not only is it just incredibly shot, incredibly acted, incredibly executed by all parts, I think it's one of the last steps in his true moral awakening, where already in Andor we have him going from being a lookout for number 1, fuck you, pay me, like survivalist guy, to someone who's willing to do anything for the cause, willing to sacrifice anything, willing to do whatever is necessary to achieve victory and to advance the bigger picture, the goal of freeing the galaxy from the Empire. And yet he can't bring himself to take the shot. And he pulls back from that a little bit and finds a different mode of being committed to the cause and being committed to the people that matter to him, because he realizes that it's not just about the cause. It really hits that it's about the people for him, and it's about his connection with Jin as well. That kind of, I think, keeps him from being able to do that, knowing that it's Jin's dad. And I think it's beautiful that allows Jin to have one more chance to make peace with her dad before he dies.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to see him kind of have to fight with that. When he says to Jin, I had every chance to pull that trigger,
but did I?
It feels like he's defending himself and he's also berating himself at the same time. And we see that kind of conflict of the people versus the big picture.
Phenomenal moment of moral clarity on his part. We already went over my number 2, which was number 5, which was the organized breakout in One Way Out. So without further ado, what is your number 1 moment?
Without further ado, my number 1 moment is Cassian making the decision to gear up and to go to Scarif with Jin in one last desperate attempt to steal the Death Star plans. Going with Jin, even when the rest of the Rebel Alliance is falling apart in chaos and fear, the fleet is scattering. Mon Mothma is about to be evacuated, as we know, from a certain point of view, I can't remember the name of the particular story, but amazing book. If anyone listening has not read
Plan
from a certain point of view, Contingency Plan, absolutely go out, check it out from the library.
That was a pull.
Yeah, but go and read it. And yeah, you're an animal, my guy. You're a demon.
I don't know how I remember that. Legitimately, I don't know how I remember that. Yeah. But yeah, Rogue One. Actually, my number 1 is not that far behind this, actually.
All right, let's hear it.
It's the speech. Let me read the speech to you, actually.
Read us the speech.
I'm going to read the speech because I think it's very good. This is about as much complimenting of Rogue One as you're going to see me do for quite a while until we get to it in a galaxy, which is going to be like 2028, 9. Everybody who loves Rogue One, enjoy these moments because you're not going to have them. It's mostly just going to, for a long time, it's mostly going to be glib jokes on my part for Rogue One about how Rogue One sucks when I don't mean that. They were never going to believe you, but I do. I believe you. We like to volunteer. Some of us, most of us, we've all done terrible things on behalf of the rebellion. Spies, saboteurs, assassins, everything I did for the rebellion. And every time I walked away from something I wanted to forget, I told myself it was for a cause I believed in. A cause that was worth it. Without that, we're lost. Everything we've done would have been for nothing. I couldn't face myself if I gave up now. None of us could. And then Bodhi says, it won't be comfortable. It'd be a big cramped. We all fit. We could go. Okay, gear up. Grab anything that's not nailed down. Go.
Yeah, that's just... Yeah.
It's this is Cassian's, as a best way I can put it is, this is Cassian's come to Jesus moment. This is Cassian realizing the mistakes he's made in his life, what he's done well in his life, and getting ready to do. For some reason, I'm going to reference Frozen 2 right now. For some reason,
Wow.
The next right thing, as he gets ready to do the next right thing, and the thing that ultimately he stakes his life on, and delivers to the relief of all of the galaxy, as they do not have to face the impending terror of the Death Star. That seems about as good of a place as any to end it. Anything else you guys say about Cassian Andor, other than we should absolutely save some thoughts for what we are going to be, because before our Andor season, which will be happening in the later part of this year. But I'm excited for that. I'm excited for Andor. I'm excited for, obviously, Bad Batch we got ahead. Is there anything else, or should I?
No, I mean, I'm just so excited for Andor season 2. I'm happy that we got to have this discussion about Cassian. Shout out to Diego Luna. Amazing character, one of my favorites. But yeah.
That's going to be it for this episode of Star Wars in the Galaxy. Next week, we are diving headfirst into the final adventures of Clone Force 99, also known as the Bad Batch. We will be watching the first 3 episodes of Season 3 of Star Wars The Bad Batch, Confined, Paths Unknown, and Shadows of Tantus. I'm very excited to get into this. It's been long enough for me. I've had one Bad Batch Season 3 release this year, obviously. We only saw the end this year, but it's been long enough because of how unbearably long the Acolyte Season 1 was, mostly because of that horrid discourse. So I feel like I've forgotten enough about Bad Batch Season 3. Not that it was forgettable in any way, just time and stuff like that. I feel like it's sat for enough time. I'm ready to go back in with new eyes to see exactly how this season wraps up this show. Jacob, you haven't seen all of it, right?
I have not. No, I'm going to be watching the bulk of it for the first time.
So I'm very excited so I may, at certain points during the season, I may ask Jacob that he'd like to turn off his volume or something, in case I want to say something on the show that happens to be a spoiler for something later. I won't do that for long periods of time. It'll just be a few seconds, if that's okay with you. But yeah, we're so excited to get to Bad Batch Season 3, Season 19 of Star Wars in the Galaxy, watching all the Star Wars we can get our hands on. In the meantime, you can follow us at In a Galaxy Pod on Twitter, on everywhere. At In a Galaxy Pod everywhere. You can follow me at my Linktree, linktr.ee/_OGFan327. Listen to us on all the platforms. Rate and review if you're on Apple Podcasts. Epic Confrontations. We will be recording the next match, Sheeves Shills versus Bangers and Smash, the #1 contender match, very shortly. It'll be out within the next few weeks. Yeah, stay tuned for other stuff like the revamping of In a Galaxy. For now, is going in full effect. We're bringing back all the favorites. We're going to bring back the In a Galaxy episodes. We already brought back special episodes. We're doing all that stuff. The bracket streams will be returning very soon. Don't think we've forgotten about them, because we haven't. And yeah, if that's all there is, then I guess all there's left to say is, may the Force be with you.
Always.